Hello friends, how are you all? I hope so all are good. So yesterday we were starting chapter separation of substances. Separation of substances, only two topics were done. So now the methods of separation. Now we will continue with the method of separation. There are 4 to 5 methods of separation which are used in day-to-day life. So first is hand picking. What do you know about hand picking? That means hand picking. By use your hand we will have to pick some things, like we have to mix 4 to 5 kinds of material, or you can say grains. Let me perform activity to understand the concept of hand picking. So I am writing here one activity. We have to perform one activity to understand the concept of hand picking. Food grain purchased from a shop, spread grain on sheet of a paper. Like I am a teacher, I am giving a work to a student that go to a shop and purchase some food grains. A boy will go to a shop and purchase some food grains and spread on a sheet of a paper. But what he do? Spread the grains on a sheet of the paper. Do you find only one kind of grain on a sheet of paper? If we spread the grains on a sheet of a paper, do you find one kind of grain on a sheet of a paper? No. There are many pieces which contain stone, husk, broken grain and particle of any other grains. Particle of any other grains. If we spread food grain on a sheet of a paper, then we will find stone, husk, broken grains and particles of any other grains. So now we have to remove these impurities from the food grains. What we have to do? We have to remove the impurities from the food grains. Now remove with your hand the pieces of stone, husk and other particles. Stones are also easily hand picked in the grains, and husk also, and the other particle also. So there is no problem in doing the hand picking in the example of the food grain which are spread on a sheet of a paper. So this method is known as method of hand picking. If we pick the other materials, or you can say if we pick the impurities from our food grains or some rice or pulses, we will separate the impurities by our hand picking. By our hand, then the method is known as hand picking. Clear? Let me clear it again. That firstly we have to purchase food grain from a shop and we will spread it on a sheet of a paper. Only fruit grain will not there. There are stones, husk, broken grains and particles of other grains which are mixed with the food grain. So we have to separate the food grain from these impurities. With the help of our hand, we will pick out the impurities from this mixture, and the method is known as method of hand picking, which can be used for separating slightly larger size impurities like the piece of dirt, stone, husk from the wheat, rice or pulses. I am underline the important line in the paragraph. So clearly it is visible to all of you. So understand with carefully which can be used for separating slightly larger size impurities. The method is used for remove impurities from the food grain, rice or pulses, but there are impurities which are slightly larger in the size. We can remove only large size impurities from the rice, wheat or pulses. If the impurities are small size than the rice, wheat or pulses, then hand picking will not available here to remove the impurities from the wheat grain. So grain, wheat, rice or pulses, whatever you can say. And the quantity of such impurities is usually not very large. And the quantity of these impurities in the food grains or rice or pulses are not very large. There are little bit amount of stones, husk or maybe like stone, husk or other particles which are not wheat, rice or pulses. So they are not present in a very large amount. They are very in a short, you can say quantity of such impurities is not usually very large. So this method is very convenient method to remove the impurities from the food grains, or you can say wheat, rice or pulses, whatever you want to take. But there are two conditions. Only two conditions will be satisfying for this method. Firstly is that the size of the impurity should be slightly larger. size of impurities should be slightly larger than the wheat, rice or pulses. That means which is the main substance you have, like you have rice, so the impurities should be slightly larger in the size as compared to rice, and the quantity of these such impurities are not usually very large. These are the two main conditions to satisfy the hand picking method. Then only you can apply the hand picking method to remove the impurities from the substances. Clear? Any problem in hand picking? Okay. So now we will start with the second method, threshing. Firstly, we have completed hand picking, and now second method is threshing. So when the farmer grow wheat in their field, after 6 to 7 months, they harvest the complete crop and putting the bundle of wheat, or you can say paddy stalk, in the field, so that in the sunlight the bundles or paddy stick get some heat from the sun and become totally dry before the grain are separated from them. So sunlight is also play a very important role in making the grains to dry, because only the sunlight gives the proper heat to grains to become dry and separate from the stalks. So each stalk has many grain attached, each stalk has many grains of seeds which have attached to the one stalk. So how does the farmer separate the one grain from the each and every grain from the stalk? It is possible to separate each and every grain from the stalk by the hand. So hand picking is not allowed here. So hand picking is not allowed because it is impossible to separate each and every grain from the stalk by the hand. So no one can do this. So there is a second method we will use. This is threshing. So grain seeds from these bundles. Who will separate the grain seed from the bundles? How we will separate the grain seeds? How we will separate the grain seeds from these bundles? Okay, take an example. If I said there are so much mangoes and bananas and you have to separate them, then you can separate easily by the hand picking, because mangoes and bananas are large in size, so they are visible and their appearance also different. So you can easily hand pick and make a different basket, like this is the basket of mangoes and this is the basket of guavas. But seed grains are much smaller than the mangoes. So this is impossible to doing by hand picking method. So that we will use the second method, that is called threshing. The process, focus here, the process that is used to separate grains from stalks, etc. is threshing. The process that is used to separate grains from stalks, or you can say bundle of wheat, is called threshing. The process by which we have to separate grains from the stalks is called threshing. What process we will make here? The stalks were beaten to free grains. The stalks were like take a one stalk and beaten on the stone, so the wheat grains are separated from the stalk and go on a sheet of paper, or you can say a large paper there, which will collect the all wheat grains from which are removed from the stalks. And now bullocks also used to separate the wheat grains from the stalks. Today a man cannot do this much energy to do this work. This is very large work to do and having a very large energy to beaten the stalks on a stone and free the grains from the stalks. So machines are also used in the field. The field which are large in size, there are machines used. The field which are large in size, then the farmer use machine to free the grains. Then farmer used machines to free the grains from the stalks. If the farm is small, or you can say if the field is very small, then people will do this work. But if the field is very large and you can say crop is a very large quantity, Then machines are used to free the grains from the stalks. Clear to all of you? Okay, let me explain once more. Second method is threshing. When the bundle of wheat, or you can say paddy stalks, lying in the field to dry by the sun before the grain is separated from the stalks. So it is impossible to separate each and every grain by hand for the farmers or any person. So we have to use the second method, that is called threshing. So we have to use second method, that is threshing, and the process is to separate grains from the stalk by beating or by using bullocks or by using machine is known as threshing. Clear? This is a very important topic, and usually in village the students which are belong to village very well known to the thresher. There is a machine thresher which is used to separate the grains from the stalks. The students which are belong to the village and having field, at they will learn thresher and the process of threshing very well, because threshing is very common process in the field when rice or you can say wheat all crop harvested. Then this method is used to separate the grains from the stalks, or you can say bundle of wheat or bundle of rice. So this is the process of threshing. Any problem in this? Mangoes and guavas are large in size, so these are used by hand picking to separate. But grains are very small in size, so hand picking is not allowed here. So smaller in the size, the quantity which is smaller in size will not follow the hand picking, will follow the threshing method to separation of substances. Clear? Take a look. Now our third method is winnowing. We have completed two methods of separation. So third is winnowing. A mixture of let's perform an activity. Take the mixture of dry sand, sawdust, or you can say powdered dry leaf. Make a powder of dry leaf and mix with the dry sand or sawdust. Keep on a newspaper. Can you find all things are different? No. Can two different components be made out easily? No, you cannot make two different components easily by your naked eyes, because these all are same in the size and these all particles mixed very easily with each other, and we cannot differentiate, or we cannot you can say separate by using hand picking method. So it is impossible to separate hand picking method. No, it is not possible to separate these things by hand picking method. And size similar? No, their size are not similar. Wait, yes, their size are similar. So sorry. Yes, their size are similar. That's why we cannot use the separation method of hand picking to separate the mixture of this and this. So mixture of the dry sand, sawdust and powdered dry leaf is not separated by using the hand picking. So we have to use the different method. This is also not separate by the threshing. Threshing is also not applicable here, and hand picking is also not applicable here. So what can we do? What process we have to take out to separate these things? So we have to use the winnowing method. How can we use the winnowing method? The process of winnowing method is here. Take your mixture to an open ground. You have to take your mixture to an open ground, put on a newspaper and make your on a plate, and make your plate at your shoulder height like this. You have to take this. If you have the plate at your shoulder height like this, these are your shoulder height, so you have to take it here. My drawing is so poor, so don't mind, only understand the concept. I am telling you that the shoulder height, keep your plate at the shoulder height with the full of mixture. Keep the plate at the shoulder height. Tilt it slightly, mixture slightly out slowly. If you tilt it slightly, then mixture will slide out slowly from your plate. Clear? Clear up to here? Okay, take a look. Yes, so next we have understand the concept of the winnowing, that how to perform the process of winnowing. So we have what is the last line here? I am explaining that. Take the plate at your shoulder height. This. Take the plate at your shoulder height. This. So what does happen when you take this plate at your shoulder height? Do both the components, sand and sawdust, fall at the same place? When you tilt it, that both the components fall at the same place. Look at here. I am drawing a small diagram to clear your concept of the winnowing. This is the direction of air. This is the direction of air. This is the plate which are kept at the shoulder height. This is the soup. You can say this is soup full of grains and particles. So when wind is blowing in this air, the husk and the lighter particles move away by the help of the wind and make a bundle, or you can say husk, at the another place, and the grain is heavier particle, so it will place down just below the soup. Just below the soup you will get the pure form of grains, and impurities will fall at the other place with the help of the air. This is the proper diagram of the winnowing concept. So next, is there component that blows away? Yes, there are impurities. There are impurities which are blow away with the help of the wind. Did wind manage to separate the two components? Yes, wind will manage the separation of two components. This process is only and only done by with the help of the wind. Without wind, we cannot perform the winnowing method to separation of 2 or 3 substances. The method of separating component of mixture is called winnowing. By using this method, when we separate the component of mixture, or you can say component of 2 or 3 mixture, then the process is known as winnowing. Clear to all of you? In winnowing, separation will heavier and lighter components of the mixture. So in mixture there are two type of components, which is one is heavier and second is lighter. If both are of the same size, then it will not applicable winnowing to separate the mixture of components. Okay, it is performed only with the help of the wind, or you can say by blowing the wind. It is with the natural wind, or you can say by the artificial wind. But you have to available the wind here to perform the winnowing method of separation of components. So what we have to do in the winnowing? Take a look again. We have to take a mixture of sand dew, or you can say dry leaf mixture, put it on a newspaper, or you can say in a soup, put them on the shoulder, right, and just tilt by blowing air or by the natural wind. So which are the impurities or lighter in weight will blow away from the proper grain like this, which are blow away with the help of wind and make a heap at the other place, and the grains just below the soup make a heap of only and only pure form of grain. So we have to separate the impurities like this by the method of winnowing. So today only we have confirmed like 3 methods. First is hand picking, threshing and winnowing. 3 methods of separation are there. For today only 3 methods are enough. You have to revise this method very well, because these are very important methods for in your early class, in your, you can say, bigger classes also. These methods are very important, so you have to revise these methods very well. 3 methods are we have to complete it today. Hand picking, let me make some place for written. Hand picking, threshing and winnowing. Firstly, in hand picking, both particles have the same size and both are heavier in weight, and both are visible by our naked eyes, that we can separate easily by our hand picking. So clear? And second is threshing, in which particle are small in size, so we cannot use hand picking and we cannot separate the particles by using our hand picking. So in threshing we have to put the stalk on a stone by beating, or you can say by bullock, or you can say by the machines. And third is winnowing, in which wind is very important. W started with winnowing and W is started with wind. So W, by using the letter W, winnowing, wind is very important. And in threshing, there is a machine thresher by which we will separate the wheat grains from the stalk, or you can say bundle of wheats. And hand picking is as known as by the hand. Hand means hath. You can differentiate, or you can pick out the different elements from the mixture, or you can say bundle of basket, and we will use the hand picking in the heavier items or larger in size. So I think so all the three method of separation are very clear to all of you. If there is any doubt, you will comment me. So for today this is enough. Tomorrow we will discuss other method of separation. Thank you.